In the beginning, it is explained that an effortless man working for an exploitative company and a university dropout had no special traits to speak of. Yuji Kuse kept chasing jobs in order to find a place where Yuji Kuse could show Yuji Kuse's full potential. It all ended in failure, with Yuji Kuse being banished as useless, with no one relying on Yuji Kuse. Before Yuji Kuse knew it, Yuji Kuse became hated by people and ended up being resentful of other people. Then Yuji Kuse is shown standing on top of a building while looking down, thinking that it was a pretty sight, but immediately correcting that thought and blaming everything on himself. Yuji Kuse then jumps off the building while thinking that perhaps this should have been done sooner and that maybe there would have been another chance to go to that place. However, just as Yuji Kuse was about to fall, a girl noticed Yuji Kuse, rushed over, and grabbed Yuji Kuse, saving Yuji Kuse's life. The scene then shifts, showing Yuji Kuse entering a class while the narration explains that this was a common tale. Yuji Kuse had messed up his high school debut, could not make any friends, and soon could not talk to anyone. Eventually, Yuji Kuse hit rock bottom in the class cast. Yuji Kuse is shown grabbing his head and sitting face down on the desk, while two students beside Yuji Kuse wonder what Yuji Kuse was doing and admit that they had no idea. Yuji Kuse is then shown walking while wondering what Yuji Kuse was supposed to do. Suddenly, a truck runs Yuji Kuse over, and the narration explains that a truck ran over Yuji Kuse, leading to the so-called reincarnation into another world. The scene then shifts to Yuji Kuse appearing in an empty place, where an angel appears before Yuji Kuse and praises Yuji Kuse for arriving as a hero. Yuji Kuse reacts in disbelief, but the angel calls Yuji Kuse a lonely soul and declares that power will be granted. The angel gives something to Yuji Kuse, and Yuji Kuse realizes that it is a cheat skill. A screen then appears stating that Yuji Kuse has obtained the cheat skill. The scene shifts again, and the narration explains that Yuji Kuse died, got reincarnated, and obtained a cheat skill. Although it felt like a dream come true, there was nothing for Yuji Kuse to miss in the previous world. Because of that, Yuji Kuse decided to do everything in Yuji Kuse's power and give it his all. Yuji Kuse is then shown fighting a monster, while the narration explains that the cheat skill itself was not anything special. However, Yuji Kuse possessed a top-tier weapon, reality, and was blessed with kind comrades. Eventually, Yuji Kuse reached the final showdown with the Demon Lord. After an intense battle that lasted 7 whole days, Yuji Kuse managed to defeat the Demon Lord. Yuji Kuse's soul reflects that it was finally done. 3 comrades then approach Yuji Kuse, praising Yuji Kuse as a hero and congratulating Yuji Kuse. Yuji Kuse thanks them, and everyone gathers around Yuji Kuse and hugs Yuji Kuse. The narration explains that Yuji Kuse, as the person hailed for the greatest feat, became super popular overnight. The scene then shifts again, showing the Saint Arya hailing Yuji Kuse as a one-of-a-kind hero. Arya gives Yuji Kuse a token for saving the world, and despite great regrets, Yuji Kuse returns home. The scene shifts back to the original world, where Yuji Kuse is seen speaking to a doctor and explaining that the events happened 5 years ago. The doctor acknowledges this and explains that Yuji Kuse gained a burst of confidence in that world and graduated high school afterward. The doctor then states that Yuji Kuse dropped out of university to become a temp. Yuji Kuse confirms this, and the doctor adds that things did not go well, leading Yuji Kuse to transfer from one company to another. Yuji Kuse confirms this as well. Finally, the doctor asks whether Yuji Kuse's memories as a hero are becoming more and more hazy. Yuji Kuse agrees, and the doctor concludes that it appears Yuji Kuse is suffering from otherworld returning syndrome. Yuji Kuse reacts in confusion, wondering about an otherworld life. The doctor explains that many patients have recently shown similar symptoms and suggests that Yuji Kuse has probably watched too much anime. Yuji Kuse denies this and insists that Yuji Kuse truly reincarnated, stating that proof exists. Yuji Kuse takes something out of Yuji Kuse's pocket and shows it to the doctor, explaining that it is a token granted by the Saint Arya for being a one-of-a-kind hero. The doctor responds that such an item is supposedly called the Seed of the World Tree. Yuji Kuse confirms this. The doctor then remarks that it obviously looks like a pickled plum. Yuji Kuse summarizes it by calling it a pickled plum. Yuji Kuse then stands up and begins to leave, while the doctor says that some pills will be prescribed and asks Yuji Kuse to be sure to come again. Yuji Kuse reflects that ever since returning home, this is how things have been, as no one believes anything Yuji Kuse says. Yuji Kuse then bumps into a girl. The girl's boyfriend confronts Yuji Kuse aggressively, asking what Yuji Kuse is looking at, and proceeds to say cruel things. Yuji Kuse apologizes, but the man punches Yuji Kuse and slams Yuji Kuse into the ground. The special token flies out of Yuji Kuse's pocket, and the man smashes it under his foot. Yuji Kuse begins crying, and the man tells Yuji Kuse not to make creepy noises. The man claims that Yuji Kuse bumped into them first and demands an apology, continuing to insult Yuji Kuse. The man's girlfriend then approaches and tells him that he is making a scene and suggests letting Yuji Kuse off this time. The man angrily sits beside Yuji Kuse and says that he has no choice and cannot let Yuji Kuse have this. He then takes Yuji Kuse's wallet, declaring that he is taking it. The couple leaves afterward. Yuji Kuse thinks bitterly that the wallet has been taken, but at least the seed was protected. Yuji Kuse questions what difference it even makes, calling himself a hero while being unable to defeat a single thug. Yuji Kuse reflects that even if the item is truly the seed of the world, what is being held now is nothing more than a pickled plum. Yuji Kuse cries while thinking this. The scene then shifts, showing Yuji Kuse coming out of a place, with a girl standing beside Yuji Kuse. The girl remarks that Yuji Kuse tried to kill himself by jumping off a building. Yuji Kuse explains that Yuji Kuse was a hero in another world, but no one in this world believes it. Without a demon lord, Yuji Kuse became lost and did not know what to do, feeling as though Yuji Kuse is gradually becoming dumber and growing sick and tired of everything. Yuji Kuse blames it all on the piece of junk being carried and throws away the pickled plum. The girl looks at it and criticizes Yuji Kuse for easily letting go of something that Yuji Kuse had faith in just because others denied it, calling Yuji Kuse the worst. Yuji Kuse starts to respond, but the girl cuts in, stating that it is not what a hero would do. Yuji Kuse admits that this is true. The girl picks up the plum and comments that this city only has people like Yuji Kuse, then returns the plum, saying that it is important to Yuji Kuse. Yuji Kuse agrees that it is important. The girl responds that at least Yuji Kuse has something important, questioning what is so bad about that. Yuji Kuse looks at her, and the girl explains that this city would never deny those sorts of people. She then grabs Yuji Kuse's shoulder and suggests leaving together. Yuji Kuse asks where they are going, and the girl urges Yuji Kuse to hurry up. Yuji Kuse asks again to be told where they are being taken, and the girl asks whether Yuji Kuse is coming or not. Yuji Kuse reflects that this person listened without mocking, but still feels scared. Yuji Kuse thinks that it does not matter whether people are good or bad, as Yuji Kuse cannot trust anyone, and is afraid of causing trouble. Yuji Kuse believes there is no place to belong. After reconsidering and looking up at the girl, Yuji Kuse initially decides not to go, but then suddenly changes his mind and asks to be allowed to come along. Yuji Kuse wonders why the decision changed just by looking at the girl's back, especially since Yuji Kuse had been trying to kill himself earlier. The girl suddenly announces that they have arrived and asks if something is wrong. Yuji Kuse replies that nothing is wrong. The girl tells Yuji Kuse to get moving and says that this is the place. Yuji Kuse observes that the entrance looks dirty and heavily tagged and wonders what kind of place it is. The girl tells Yuji Kuse to stop complaining and go inside. Yuji Kuse thinks that the place is dirty, shady, and suspicious, and also notes that Yuji Kuse is not completely penniless. Upon entering, Yuji Kuse greets everyone. Inside, Yuji Kuse sees 4 girls. One of the girls then declares that the reincarnated one has returned,